Welcome everyone to whatever this is going to be called, Xeracion Podcast, Xeracion Interviews. This is our second take. We have had some audio issues, I guess, with the figuring out how to use the material at disposal. But everything's good now. I'm your host, Sam. I'm the new volunteer here at Xeracion. I'll be here for 9 months, and I'm with my lovely co-host who's going to introduce themselves right now.
Hi everyone, my name is Piet and I've been volunteering at Xeracion now for about 2 weeks. Sam just arrived. So both of us have been interested in making a podcast for some time. So we decided to start this journey. And I mean, this is our first episode together and I'm excited. I'm from the Netherlands originally, and I'm gonna volunteer for about 4 months here in Spain. So pretty excited so far.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm super excited. Honestly, it's been a wild ride for me, like up until this point. I don't know about you, but yeah, like it's been quite dramatic. Like, what is it that brought you to volunteering? Like, what was the decision making like what made you go like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna go do ESC?
To be honest, I've had a pretty tough time. I finished my exams last year and it was a pretty tough year for me because I had to push myself doing a lot of things I didn't want to. Mentally, I felt a bit down. So I started really working on myself. And then I saw that I was just not happy in the situation I was. I was bored. So I started doing a lot of things because I just needed to do them. Like just always making beats just because I needed to do something. And I just felt so stuck in a place where I lived, the same people, the same neighborhood, the same routine, everything the same. And I was like, okay, to finish this step of evolving, feeling better, I needed to make a big step. And then I had the idea to volunteer. So then I came in contact with Xeracion and I was like, okay, let's do this.
And who pushed you on to that? Like, when did you learn about ESC?
To be really honest, my sister has actually done a volunteer project in Curacao for 4 months. But I didn't really ask her like how she did it. I just I started just looking on the internet at how it worked and like the websites and stuff like that. And then my grandma, she had a friend or some friend who went on a volunteer trip with Eastpackers. So then I came in contact with Eastpackers, and via Eastpackers I came in contact with Xeracion. There were multiple like voluntary corporations connected to Eastpackers as well. So yeah, I just made that choice to go to Spain because I really like Spain and I wanted to learn Spanish and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how it is.
Did you have like anyone in your surroundings over there that, outside of your sister, of course, who have like known of ESC and Erasmus Plus and stuff?
No, not really.
Yeah.
No. I feel like I'm also like the first in my family to, next to my sister, of course, but to really find out how this works, and get in contact with ESC and stuff like that. I didn't really know it existed. A lot of people don't. They think that if you do voluntary work, you're actually just traveling and paying everything yourself and then just working for free out of like love for the culture, love for the helping people out. But there's a lot of like opportunities that Europe wants to help you with, as a young adult. So
yeah, it's kind of a similar thing for me,
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I started also with Erasmus Plus. Because I started first with like youth exchanges. Like I only have 2 in my backlog, I'd say. But there's people who actually like do a lot of them and don't really try to get involved into doing more. Unfortunately, that's what I've learned from the guy who has put me on to Xeracion. Actually, is someone who's working in an organization in Estonia. And basically, like, I'm not gonna give you the whole story because it's very long, and we don't want to make this all about me. But yeah, basically, like, I already had an ESC volunteering project before, and really love Spain, even though this is here, like Ferrol and Galicia, a different region, different people, different organization. I really wanted to go back to Spain and also like to expand on the initial experience I've had and do more. So, now we're here. So let's do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you came all the way from, Reunion Island.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
that's also like a crazy story.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, like not many people know where this is from. So, like, maybe if you've seen the introduction videos, again, guys, come on, like,
watch the introduction video on the Xeracion Instagram.
I think both our videos are some of the best that we've come up with.
Yeah, they're funny. They're really funny. So.
Maybe I'm boasting a little bit, but come on.
I mean, they're definitely nice. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Funny.
So in the video, like, I show you guys where it is, and yeah, it's right next to Madagascar, basically, and. Yeah, I was kind of like in the same situation as you, like feeling kind of like stuck and not really doing anything. And also over there, like there's not much like job opportunities, and the housing situation is really bad. So, and on top of that, I really just felt the need to leave and, just discover new things and meet new people and stuff. So, I left Reunion Island, not for ESC, for something else that didn't work out. But, that's a blessing because now I'm here. And,
yeah.
I feel like I definitely belong here better than where I was before. So that's great. And yeah, like we have tons of creative opportunities here, like with writing projects, participating in projects, interacting with new people and really doing what moves us, which, is something that you and I really gravitate towards the same stuff with music.
Yeah.
And like some previous volunteers also have been like writing music related projects that I think both of us are going to get involved in. So I'm very, very excited about that.
Yeah.
And so this is, again, guys, this is our second take. So please bear with us. Like it's been exhausting because like we had like a 1 hour long take that, thankfully, the video is saved. So you might see some clips from that initial conversation pop up.
The issue was that we have like an kind of a weird interface here.
Yeah, this audio interface is really weird, and I don't know. Even as someone who's worked as, kind of like a sound engineer, like I've never used an interface like that, and yeah, like it was just a matter of sampling rate stuff. So yeah, now it's all good and the audio is working. So yeah, like we were discussing during the previous take how like we each other like got into music and. Why don't you like tell us again about that in, with your new words and stuff? Because again, I know that we're tired with this, but
yeah,
gotta give something for the people to listen to.
Yeah, so I started like making beats on my iPad on GarageBand when I was like about 9 or 8 or something, just on my mom's iPad. And you have like, it's a basic program. You have like built-in plugins, but they're really, really horrible sounding plugins and like horrible sounding pianos and stuff like that. And the drum kits sound horrible. But I was just like experimenting a little bit. Took guitar lessons when I was 10. And I really started like producing beats when I was 14, 15. Because then my mom was like, okay, I can get you FL Studio if you want. I was already like experimenting with the trial version a bit. But she said, okay, you can get FL Studio for your birthday if you pass this year in high school. So I did, got it for my mom. And then I really started like producing that music. It took me a long time, like 2-3 weeks until I got my first beats sounding enjoyable enough to not turn it off in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been a long journey. Like, if you don't know a program, is you feel like quitting all the time. You procrastinate because you don't want to look everything up. It's like a lot of you have to watch a lot of YouTube videos, read through a lot of stuff. Have the patience, you know. You just have the patience to learn a DAW. But I mean, you use Ableton, so
Yeah.
I mean, how has that process been for you when just starting with Ableton?
Well, basically, like, yeah, for me, going into like music making, because like I think, yeah, I told you about how I got interested in music in general, but music making for me was in high school, so like when I was 17. And yeah, like back then I was just listening to a lot more music when I was like 16, 17. And I was, you know, those ideas just like blooming in my head of like, what if I made my own, you know, songs? And what if, you know, I had full control over everything I did in music, you know, like from the recording process to like the beat making, the mixing and everything. So started looking a little bit around my neighborhood, like if I had any sort of like musical school. And there was one like maybe like 10 minutes away from my high school on foot. So I talked about it with my parents and I signed up, and, you know, I got piano classes. I got music theory classes, you know, like just learning to read the sheets and everything, and also like beat making, which were my favorite of the three.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And yeah, like that's how I learned how to use Ableton, because I had someone to show me, you know, like. But I also like enjoyed experimenting by myself, you know, as you said, like watching a lot of videos and stuff like that afterwards. And, you know, at first I was just messing with the basic instruments from Ableton Live 9. At that point it was still 9.
Oh,
I think now it's 12, right? I think it's Live to 12.
12, yeah.
Yeah, I'm running Ableton Live 11 right now. This is what I'm recording on.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you know, the MIDI instruments are okay-ish, you know, and I made a first like experimental EP, which I released on my 18th birthday. And yeah, it was fun. You know, I tried to limit myself to only using what was good for me in, you know, the sound library, basic sound library of Ableton Live 10.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically like it doesn't sound the best, but you know, it was a restriction for me. I was like, okay, can I do something that is, you know, expressive and creates an emotion at least? You know, it doesn't have to sound perfect, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's also what I did with my FL Studio journey. Like, I actually produced a song for my sister. Still am one of her producers. She makes pop indie pop, and she wanted to release her first songs on Spotify.
Yeah.
So just before she actually went to Curacao, like a couple of days before we released her first song on Spotify, I was by then producing for a year maybe. So I was really bad still. But I was already like giving studio sessions to her, recording stuff, and we actually made her first song when she still made songs in English.
Oh, okay.
What to Believe. And yeah, it was her first song. It sounded actually pretty good. Like, I mean, if I hear it back, I see a lot of like, especially mastering mistakes. Like, it's not loud and stuff like that, and the kick is not punching through cleanly. But still, you know, as you say, like you started releasing, even though it doesn't sound perfect. I mean, I think you learn the most by just releasing, going for it. And then reflecting on what you made, implementing the new stuff. But if you only like keep all your songs in the vault all the time because you're waiting for that moment that your stuff is perfect, I mean, you will never see how the public reacts to it. You will never see it, like you will never really commit to your song.
Yeah.
And I think that commitment like makes you putting yourself like in a vulnerable position of actually like putting it out there, that makes you learn the most about what you want to improve next, or what you want to change next, or which genre you're gonna indulge yourself in next.
For sure.
So definitely. I mean, good that you just released some. And for me, it was the same. I started rapping when I was 17, and I released my first album when I was 18, something like that. It's actually called Chapter 17, and the end song is Chapter 18, and it's about growing up and becoming like an adult, or not so becoming an adult at once, but more so really starting to feel that change from
like teenagehood to like kind of like young adulthood.
Something like that.
Yeah, and what you said about like commitment to like your artistic vision and releasing songs, I think is also something I've fallen victim to in terms of like having a lot of like work in progresses, also like a huge like backlog of work in progress songs that you never finish, but also like even songs that beats that I've finished and didn't release because I was like, but it's not finished because I didn't record myself on it yet and stuff. And like, it made me sit on like a good amount of beats, not a massive, but like, probably more than 5. And it's a shame because like now everything is like back home in Reunion Island, on my desktop computer.
You told me. You all left it at your desktop.
I feel quite bad about it. I should have like brought it on my laptop or like put it on a USB drive or something. Yeah. But I don't know, like the whole process of leaving there was already like very hectic. So.
Have you ever had the situation that, for me example, I don't know how it happened, but like when I was 2 years into music, I lost like the half of all my library of projects.
Yeah.
Because I accidentally, I think I deleted it or something, or I placed it in a different map, which I deleted. And like, or it glitched out or something, and I lost like half my projects. Like that's my worst producing. Have you ever had that? Or
not really. I mean, thankfully, I think they're still all on my computer back home. But since I left, and I left without taking them with me. Now I'm kind of like starting from scratch. I told you that I couldn't even really work again on music, even though I have now Ableton Live 11, because I don't really have like the disk space to like install.
But we're gonna improve that.
But this is going to change, of course, because I got an SSD incoming, a pretty big one. So
4 terabytes.
Yes,
I mean, a pretty big one.
It's going to be a thick chungus of
big chungus of an M2. Yeah.
Yeah, and gotta be able to like get a bunch of not just like VSTs, but also like samples and shit like that. Really like get back into the groove of things and improve on my beat making and also like record stuff. Especially now, like I'm very happy with the gear that we have here in Xeracion. Like you guys can see on the videos, like those microphones.
Yeah.
This thing, I don't really know what to think about it. We made it work, but
we can discuss about it.
It works.
I mean,
it works. Like
it works. It works. Yeah.
We made it work.
It's controversial.
And it's on me. I didn't really like get to look at all the stuff that we had because then I told you that I found a console that I could have used like an audio interface to like record each other like so much more easily. But that's how it is. But whatever. Like being here with Xeracion, and when I arrived Monday, I wasn't really sure what to expect. I knew that it was at least going to be decent, and that for 9 months I was going to be all right, and that is going to give me, the opportunity to, find what I need to like bounce back from my previous experience in France, and for sure, like it delivered, but it over-delivered. Like I got welcomed by one of the ex-volunteers from Xeracion, Rafa, if you're watching.
Shout out to you, Rafa.
Amazing guy, and he was here with his brother, And like I just got out the bus, and I met with Fran and with Rafa and Eli, and immediately I was like told, yeah, so you make music. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, we make music too. Then they told me, like, they made me listen to the stuff they made with Edan. Shout out Edan if you're watching this. She's a really good singer, actually, and one of our mentors, which is basically someone we get to spend time with outside of the association. And yeah, like they told me about the projects they've made and everything, showed me videos and stuff. And dude, like, it's really, really cool stuff to be, meeting people that are in the same interest as you. And also like they invited both of us actually to a party for the New Year's Eve.
But you also told me, like, at home where you're from, you don't have like that many producer friends or artists around you, and neither do I. So that's why I'm glad, like, I meet people like you and also like Benji, a German guy that I met at the voluntary training in Santiago de Compostela. Shout out to Benji. Actually made a song together with him in German and my own language, Dutch. So it's like a crazy collab, like Joost and Ski Agu kind of. But I'm glad to be around people like you, because like at home I didn't have that many people, or they weren't talented and they just wanted to find out if music was something for them. And it's like a 16-year-old guy who wants to rap and he thinks like he can use my studio time all the time. And then I'm like, stuff like that, it's just...
for sure.
Yeah, so...
For sure. And like, especially like you and I are roommates. So like yesterday we made music together, and like I was very impressed with what you did. And like, it's very inspiring for me, like I like to learn from everyone, I don't really want to set myself on any kind of ego, even though I'm older than you and shit. Like, you work on a different program than me. Like, I use Ableton, you use FL Studio.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like, you have a really keen ear actually for like what makes a good song, what makes a good beat, which is something I was like very happy to see that, someone else around me has, because I think I do also. But, it's always better to have like a different perspective. And I think I definitely trust yours as well in that regard for like mixing and stuff. So,
of course.
So yeah, like it's, it opens the doors for us to like make some really cool stuff. And like there's going to be some really cool projects happening with Xeracion as well, surrounding music, and not just music. So like keep your eyes peeled for that in the future.
Yeah, we do a lot of crazy creative stuff, and we're actually planning on renovating a house at Das Nest. It's actually two houses, and we're planning on like organizing a rave there.
Yeah, which is your idea.
Yeah,
and I think this is going to be hella fun. I've actually never been to a rave. That's because of my background and where I come from. We don't really do that. There's like techno festival and stuff like that. But it's definitely going to be something new for me as well. So I'm super happy.
I mean, I'm from the Netherlands, so we have like big festivals like Amsterdam Dance Event. We actually in Amsterdam Dance Event we have like about 3,000 DJ booths all over the city, like in boats, in the train, in the buses, everywhere we place DJs wherever we can. It's crazy. Like, so I didn't grow up with it, but I've been to some raves, and I know how to like make a proper rave happening,
Yeah, plus you're DJ too, and I think it's really interesting for me. Like, I never really looked at the whole like DJing side of things in music. Like I make beats at home. I do sometimes write lyrics. Like I've actually even like sang some rap lyrics in front of people, with no beat behind me, but it was fun. Like I did it once during my pre-ESC project, which was amazing. And I've been doing like sound engineering and stuff like that, which helped with setting all of this up, but also solving the problems we've had with all of this. And also, you really did give me a hand with this as well. So thank you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we didn't know shit about this thing right here, so we figured it out, the both of us. Yeah. I mean, there's some teamwork. And that's how you learn stuff, I think.
Exactly.
This is like, that's the situations you find yourself in when you're doing this voluntary shit. It's like you work yourself in these types of situations. It's just new. It's out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And beforehand, as you told me, I had the same. Like, I didn't know what to expect. But that's the thing. Like, if you don't know what to expect, you kind of panic. You get like a little anxious. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? That's just the brain not being able to predict what's gonna happen in your life. But that is what they mean, going out of your comfort zone. Going out of your comfort zone actually means something physical, mostly, like actually going somewhere else. And I mean, the things we doing here is just out of our comfort zone, and that's how you grow as a person, and that's how you like find out what you want to do next in life. So that's why this is so great, you know.
Yeah, and this is something that, you know, I've talked a lot also prior to me leaving Reunion Island with my friend Paula, which is going to visit me early 2026. If you're watching or listening to this, Paula, I'll see you.
Shout out Paula.
That's a shout out.
Doing a lot of shout outs.
Like and like basically, like before leaving Reunion Island, you know, I felt like I was stuck there, and like it was something that very much was affecting my mental health and stuff. And like she was there for me, you know, like she is really one of my best friends. I think I could probably even call her my best friend, you know. So like we had a bunch of like video calls, and we even had the idea of like maybe having a podcast together, which you know, now that I've tried, you know, with you and with Xeracion, I think maybe I'll talk about it with her again, so we can try and set things up. But yeah, like we basically like had those video calls where we have like a bunch of deep conversations, and you know, prior to leaving, I was just like projecting myself so much in the future, and I was like really thinking of what I was doing, especially because I was working a job that I really didn't enjoy. And I was working that job out of compromise to like please my parents and stuff. And because I was like scared of, you know, their reaction, I guess. But I think it was mostly actually their fear that was affecting me.
Yeah.
And
their uncertainty.
Yeah. The fear of uncertainty. That's where I was getting to. And, you know, what I was telling Paula is that, you know, this whole situation has made me reflect a lot on the how polar opposites fear and love are. I don't think the opposite of love is hatred. I think fear is, because like when you love someone or something, like it moves you and it drives you, you know, like it makes you intrinsically like want to make what you love grow. When you are afraid, what happens is nothing, because you're just afraid. Like there's a difference between like actual danger and like being afraid. Like
I know
when
what
you're
you mean.
afraid of something, you don't move, you're frozen. And when I noticed that, you know, what I really wanted deep inside was to just leave Reunion Island, get the hell away from there, and just, you know, ball, basically, like improvise with whatever was going to happen to me once I leave, you know, in France. If I find a job and it goes well, good. If it doesn't, and I end up being in a situation where I almost end up, you know, homeless, which is actually what happened. How do I bounce back? And this is how I bounced back. And like, I think we all like deal with situations of fear in our lives, you know, and
a lot.
A lot. And, you know, I think fear is like a very important feeling to have.
Of course.
Because sure, like it protects you from, you know, what isn't good and healthy for you, but it also like presents you with choices. Like for me, you know, like I was afraid, I needed to figure out what was I afraid of most, you know, like, am I afraid of leaving Reunion Island and, you know, like afraid of uncertainty and afraid of not knowing what I was going to do? Or am I afraid of staying exactly where I am, knowing full well that this isn't for me and this is going to hurt me? What is more scary between those two situations?
Both.
And both are scary, but there's one that was scarier. It's actually and, you know, it wasn't just fear. It was something like that actually was actively hurting me at the time, just being stuck in place.
Yeah.
And I was afraid of the consequences of what would happen if I let that situation settle in longer.
Yeah, I mean, fear can eat you. It can eat you from the inside, and if you stay in like a frozen state for too long, you're gonna actually give that fear the power. It's gonna do the same damage of what you think the fear about what's actually gonna do damage to you. You know, in case of the fear itself, and I mean, I think with fear, it's a survival mechanism. I mean, and it's also something that people have to break through. I think that's why life is so hard. Is because if it was easy, then what do you have to fight for? What do you have to? Why would you like get over the fear? I mean, we talked about this. I did free running and I did tricks and backflips and stuff like that. And getting over that fear of actually doing the backflip, it just makes your mental state so much stronger. You also told me like an experience you had.
Yeah, with like inline skating.
Yeah, with inline skating.
Yeah, so like basically inline skating, for those of you who don't have the terms, is basically like rollerblades for skate parks that allow you to grind but pretty much that's it. Like grind on rails, on like curbs and stuff. And I'm really into it. It's what helped me a lot in my personal life and really moves me and drives me because like that's something I discovered through a video game I really like. For those of you who have seen my introduction video, the logo is on my shirt of the thumbnail of the video. It's Jet Set Radio. Shout out Jet Set Radio. Shout out Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. Actually, yeah, the studio who made Bomber Cyberpunk is from your country, so shout out to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically like this sport has like pushed me to, like I was like projecting myself like doing a bunch of cool stuff, and like it's a sport, so like you don't really get to do that thing without training, without pushing yourself, and you have to go through like very normal stuff for that within that realm, like. I put on the skates and then I go up a ramp and then I look down the ramp and then I'm like, can I go down that ramp without killing myself?
Yeah, exactly. But you also do Muay Thai boxing, right?
Yeah.
So that's also like something that makes you mentally very strong. And I mean, for example, I did kickboxing for half a year, on and off, like not that intense, but it wasn't for me because I just didn't like it for some reason. But I have actually done judo for 2 years. And I really like that because you have to like get over that fear of, okay, what if I lose? What if I'm gonna get hurt? What if my ego gets beaten down? What if I lose? What if I'm gonna get hurt?
Yeah.
And if you just do it and then do your best, I mean, you will always get up, and that failure makes you stronger. Fear is just fear, fear of failing, But
exactly.
If you don't feel,
and I think people don't really usually have the right mindset about fear. I think like again, like fear is a very natural thing, but I think that we are so comfortable within this society and stuff that we just have a lot that allow us to like not face fear. To be like, okay, this is a scary situation. I'm gonna do something else, something safer. And my parents, I'm not gonna say that they never faced fears or like faced difficult situations like that, because they have. I know that for a fact. But due to me being their kid, like they want me to be safe, and like they're gonna direct me to what feels safe instead of what feels scary. So this is why, like, they were like feeding me their insecurities and fears about like me leaving, because like they were scared that something bad would happen to me. Except bad things have happened to me before, and they will happen to me again, and they have happened to them, and they will happen again. And it's just you gotta put yourself in situations of fear, and you gotta put yourself in those situations because you have to do things from being afraid. You can't wait to not be afraid anymore. You can't wait to, like, that's not what courage is.
It's not gonna work, and it's not gonna happen. Never.
Fearlessness, I don't really believe in it. I believe in courage. I think like
courage.
You can do things while being scared, and then that's what I said. With skating, like maybe you go down the ramp, and maybe you didn't lean forward to embrace the the speed that you get from going down the ramp, and you're scared, so you lean back, but then you fall off because you didn't commit.
Yeah. And that's what we talked about, like the commitment of just releasing that song, of just doing the jump, of just doing that flip. Like it puts you over that, that over the hill. It pushes you over the hill, and then the ball starts rolling again. And you was talking about your parents. I mean, that's a very like
shout out my parents. I love
phenomenon that happens also with my parents. Yeah. Like it's the things they faced in their life, they're projecting those lessons upon your life, whilst there is not like an actual truth for everyone how they should live their life and what's dangerous. I mean, if I get hit by a car, I mean, I'm gonna tell my kids to always watch the street. I mean, that's a rational thing to do, because they would make the same mistake. But in another case, it might be something that doesn't happen to other people, but it happened to them. So they are afraid that it's gonna happen to you, and that kind of stops you and keeps you small from actually exploring the world. Maybe they were too afraid to explore the world, and they kind of, I mean, not on purpose, hold you back from actually spreading your wings. And I see that with my parents as well, because my dad, he told me just before I left, I don't think you're ready to live on your own. And I was like, I arrived here and I have not a single moment struggled with caring for myself, cooking for myself, doing the dishes, anything like it. I think I'm fully capable of living on my own. But whatever my parents are saying, they always think different of me than I actually am. And it's just the way they are, because they want to protect you, and they keep treating you as a child always. And you just got to grow up and start realizing that they're also just humans, and free yourself from that.
Yeah, exactly. And I was experiencing the same thing. Like they were telling me, like, like you're gonna have to do the dishes, you're gonna have to do this and that. I'm like, this all makes sense, but the lifestyle I had with my parents was one that wasn't healthy at all for me, because I was living with them and like they handled everything at home. Like they did the dishes, they cooked, wash the clothes, hang the clothes, get the clothes back from the hanging line. Like they did all of this stuff, and I was living there with them, and I wasn't doing shit.
Really?
I'm not afraid of saying it. Yes, I wasn't doing shit.
That's pretty rare, I think.
Yeah,
isn't it?
But it was pretty bad for me, and like I knew it, But I was like, before my first ESC project, like I was in a very like bad situation of like isolation.
Yeah.
And after I left for my first ESC, I didn't want to go back. I felt it felt so freeing of having like control, like full control over like my decisions
and your own
and
life.
my own life. And it wasn't just about like chores at home, like it's about like what I did every day, like what I eat, where I go, who I engage with, what risks I took, what party I go to.
Responsibility.
Yeah, responsibility.
Freedom.
And like what you put out into the world, like for yourself and for other people. And like when I came back to Reunion Island to live with my parents again, it felt so, I felt so out of place. So out of place. Like you said, this is like your first experience of like living outside of like by yourself, I guess.
Yeah, it's
like,
actually
right?
my first time I'm not living at home.
Yeah. I don't know if you're gonna go back to like live with your parents again, but if you do, like I think you're gonna see it's like you're in a place that hasn't changed, but you feel like a completely different person. It's like going back to the same school that you've been when you were like 5 years old.
Yeah.
It feels the same. And like I remember distinctly like walking at the like past the entrance of the house, and I was like, okay, well, the food's already ready. The kitchen is like super clean. Everything is already done.
The same dynamic is still active.
Yeah, like the same dynamic is here. And then I was like waking up in the morning, and I still had like that after my first night back, and I still had that very much like habit of what it was for me when I was living by myself. I mean, with my flatmates, sure, but like handling myself. So I wake up, I'm like, okay, I gotta get some food. Like I gotta go grocery shopping or like cook. and then I get up and like there's already food made from like a couple of days ago in the fridge. So I'm like, okay, which of my clothes are dirty so I can do the laundry? Well, the laundry is already done.
Yeah.
You know, everything was so comfortable that it stripped me of like the power. Like, it's not like power in the sense of like, I can do anything, but like power in the sense of like you're the driving force of your own life.
Yeah, I get that. I actually called my mom yesterday and I was like, yeah, I'm not having any trouble with, taking care of myself and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, but when you're home, I don't see that.
Exactly.
Why are you sitting behind your desk while and I'm like, I do my best, but that's what parents think.
Yeah.
Then they think that you don't do anything because you're not capable of it. It's just because they always do it for you.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. It's not your fault either.
Yeah,
it's just the way it works.
It's
just a dynamic. Yeah. And if you get out of your house and you start living on your own, it's not that hard to learn. It's actually pretty nice because it's also something you do out of self-love. It's learning to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And when you get married or get a girlfriend and you live together, I've not experienced that, but it's also very different than living with your parents because it's 50-50. You do the laundry together and stuff like, or you on Monday, she on Tuesday, etc., etc. So that's very different. Like that parent dynamic, it will never change because they always feel like they are superior to you in some way.
Yeah, like they have this sensation of like responsibility over you, and like it's infantilizing until some point in your life. And it's crazy because like it's something that can last a long time until you have the opportunity and the will to like step outside of that comfort zone that is your own house with your parents and to like live for yourself. You know? So like they just project their own fears onto you because in their eyes, you're still that little kid. But like years have passed and like you end up being like 20 and living with your parents and you're like, okay, well, I need something else to happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes like you don't really know what words to put onto it. And I think, that was it for me. Like when I went on my first ESC, Erasmus Plus, I was like 22 years old actually. And it was so amazing.
Freeing.
It was so amazing. It was super freeing because I felt like I was, surrounded by a lot of people who had the same interests as me in terms of like curiosity and discovery. And I was a blank slate. I was living in an island, like already people like when they live on the continent here in Europe, in their home countries and cities, like they also feel like they keep seeing the same people. It's always the same shit. When you're on an island, it's like 10 times the same thing. Like it's so much more like that. And so now like I was in Spain and I was feeling like a completely blank slate. I was a nobody to those people. So I had everything to show them about who I am.
It's refreshing, right?
It's refreshing.
It's really refreshing. I really love it. I also came here and I was like, I don't speak no Spanish, like none. Yeah. And they don't speak English that much either. Mm-hmm. And I came here, I didn't know how the buses worked. I don't know anything. I don't know how expensive it is. Apparently it's pretty cheap. But I didn't know shit. And it's just nice to get like that. It's also like a very kid-like feel, like you're a child again, because you get to discover things for the first time again. Mm-hmm. It's like it brings you in the moment. It makes you, it makes you vulnerable as well. But it also makes you
as well.
Mindful, very conscious of everything you do. You get the chance to change your routine, change your habits, and it's just very important. And I think, as you told me, like when I go back home, it's gonna be a shock for me. And I think the moment I step into the door of my house, I'm gonna be like, damn, I want to go back. I really want to go back. So when I get home, I'm gonna immediately like look for a house. Yeah. It is really difficult in the Netherlands, though. Housing really expensive.
That's what I was saying. Like, try to when you go back, try to like find what is the next step for you, like very quickly, or like even anticipate it before even going there. Because like it's very insidious how your parents and like your environment influences your decision making in a way that, you know, your body then communicates to you that something's wrong, but you have a difficulty of like pointing out what it is. And I thought, you know, I could take it for granted that, you know, once I took the leap of faith for the first time in 2022 and then again during my first ESC in 2023, you know, that I had the capability of like discerning when those things, you know, how those things should be handled.
Yeah.
But I was wrong. You know, I was back into my bedroom. I was back into my parents' house, and I was there like telling them that I wanted to leave again, telling them that I needed to go because I don't feel good. But there I was again being influenced by their fears. And it's really difficult to deal with.
Yeah, it's really difficult to
deal with. And I don't know if anyone like listening or watching this is dealing with this, but like, I think my only advice for you, like circling back to what we said before, is like identify the fear, you know, and where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because that is what is going to guide you to where you need to go.
Yeah.
Like for me, like again, I was feeling like I was scared of the uncertainty, but I was also scared of what I was already going through. And I just needed to know like which fear was the strongest. And the strongest fear I had was of not moving and just letting this shit situation settle in for me, instead of, you know, going for the tiniest hope that, you know, putting all of my chips onto leaving could bring me so much more.
Yeah.
And now I can see it, you know, like I left and I've gone through quite a lot in just the span of a few months, and now I'm here. And in the span of 1 week, I've had like such a good time meeting a lot of great people like you and stuff. And yeah, it's just, it's worth taking the shot for sure.
Definitely. I mean, and when you get back into that house, it's just hard to not get comfortable again and step into those old habits.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me personally, it's definitely the best to maybe stay for longer and also like start looking for housing already, or maybe I should like live with a friend or something like that, because I think those situations where we are in now are really like freeing. It opens up your mind, and then you can see your situation at home from a very different perspective. It gives you all the insights. You exactly know what to do after that. But when you get back home, you have like it's like a time against the clock, like a race against the clock. So you have to like as soon as possible stay in that state of mind and the things you learned and act upon them as fast as possible, or you're gonna be right where you were, you know. So
for sure,
you're gonna feel even worse because you became conscious of it. I mean, when I'm at home, I'm just so bored, and I feel like like my mom treats me as a kid, and I'm not. Like I'm starting to. I'm a young adult now, and I am really. I can live on my own. I can be on my own. I can make my own decisions. I really know what I want. And when I'm here, I just feel so much more, respected also by other people, and they just way more secure and way more confident.
Yeah,
especially confident. And I mean, yeah, I just needed that kind of like taste. I needed to taste that first in order to know if it was really true what I was thinking. But I'm really finding like all the answers I was looking for the past 2 years, even more maybe. So I now know what to do, and it makes me really happy. So I'm glad for that. So
that's
really grateful. Yeah. So yeah,
man. All right. Well, I think we're at 40 minutes for recording, so I think this is probably a good point to end on. It's not that much shorter from the first take we had, and I think both conversations were pretty good. I think we're gonna try to use clips from both recordings for you guys. Unfortunately, the audio is gonna be different for the first take that we had, because unfortunately the audio didn't record. Well, it got corrupted for the first take, but at least we got a lot of material now. So I guess we can conclude here. So thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you on the next one. Maybe I'll be the co-host next time. Maybe I'll be hosting again. I have no idea what we're gonna do, but this is the beauty of it again. So thanks for tuning in, and see you on the next one.
See ya.